We're going to be talking today about, of course, we're going to have a cooking class, but we're going to kind of go over nutrition. Because we don't want anyone to walk away not having the understanding of when you're making a transition from not being a vegetarian to a total vegetarian, right? So there are some things we're going to go over, because I'm sure there are questions that you are thinking about. One of the main questions people normally say, am I getting enough protein when I make that switch? Am I going to be deficient when I make that switch? So we're going to kind of go over those things so you can understand how you make the switch, and so you don't prevent a problem as you make the switch. So we're going to go over it. Anyone have any questions, you can ask. This is the book that I'm sure some of you probably have it, called Health Power, Health by Choice, Not by Chance. Anyone is familiar with this book? Very good. It's a very good book to have in your life. So we're going to be talking about nutrition. And if you have this book, it's on page 182. And as we share, if you have any questions, you can ask. You can stop me. It says vegetarians are sprouting up all over. More than 60 million in the United States alone. Can you hear me? Am I recalling my voice loud enough? It says one stereotype as food fanatics or leftover hippies, vegetarians are now widely respected. They are considered healthier and their diet more ecologically sound. So the question is asked, why go to the trouble of being a vegetarian? Why go to the trouble of being a vegetarian? Healthy. Amen. To be healthy. It says 7 out of 10 Americans suffer and die prematurely of 3 killer diseases. What are the 3 killer diseases? Yes.
And diabetes.
Strokes. It's heart disease, cancer, and stroke. Those are the 3 killer diseases. In his comprehensive report to the nation, titled Nutrition and Health, Everett Cooper, which is an MD, stated unequivocally that the Western diet was the major contributor to these diseases. So your diet is the major contributor to these diseases, right? It says he confirmed that saturated fat and cholesterol eaten in disproportionate amount were the main culprit. He reminds people that animal product is the largest source of fat in the diet, saturated fat, and as well as the only source of cholesterol. So that is the only way you're going to get cholesterol in your system is when you eat, because the body produces cholesterol already, but when you eat added cholesterol, it causes the cholesterol to elevate. So animal products are the only source of saturated fat and cholesterol. He reminds people that animal products are the largest source of fat in the diet as well as other sources. To compound the problem, Dr. Cook pointed out these foods are usually eaten at the expense of complex carbohydrate, rich foods such as grain, legumes, and vegetables. So these things have, is what the body actually needs, right? It says the average risk of heart disease for a man eating meat, egg, and dairy product is 45%. So you have a 45% chance of getting heart disease if you eat these things. Eggs, meat, and dairy product. The risk for a man who leaves off meat is 15%. You see how it dropped dramatically? It says, however, the coronary risk of a vegetarian who leaves off meat, eggs, and dairy product drop to 4%. So if you leave off meat, it drops to 15%, but if you leave off the egg and the dairy, it drops off 4%. So, go ahead. No, that's for the 3 killer disease. Heart disease, cancer, and stroke. So, any other question before I go on? So, it dropped 15%. So remember, it started out at 45%. If you eat these things, you have a 45% chance of having these killer disease. If you drop off meat, then you have 15%. But if you take the dairy and the egg out, you have 4% chance of getting it. Isn't that wonderful? It says an editorial in the Journal of the American Medical Association commented on these advantages. It said a total vegetarian diet can prevent up to 90% of our strokes, 97% of our heart attack. Wow. Isn't that profound? Going beyond prevention, Dr. Dean Ornish published study proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that a very low-fat vegetarian diet could reverse heart disease in patients scheduled for coronary bypass surgery. It said the risk for cancer of the prostate, breast, and colon is 3 to 4 times higher for people who consume meat. And that is including fish as well. Fish is meat. Chicken is meat. Turkey is meat, not red meat. All of them are categorized as meat.
Anything with eyes.
Anything with you know, we always say anything that has a mother, that comes from that of a liver, don't eat it. So that is meat. So people always say, oh, Sister Walker, is fish meat? Yes, it is. Does it have 2 eyes? Does it have a liver? It has a liver. Does it come from that of a mother? Alright, so it is meat. Okay, I'll carry on. It said the risk for cancer of prostate, breast, and colon is 3 to 4 times higher for people who consume meat, eggs, and dairy products. So don't think that when you take out the meat and you're still eating the dairy product, you're still at risk because it comes from an animal. So it may not do it quick, but eventually over time, you're still in danger. Yes? He's going to talk about that. It's the same thing. People use vegan just to kind of categorize ourselves from people that are lacto-ovo vegetarian. There's so many classes of vegetarian, but it's actually supposed to be a total vegetarian, which means totally from all animal products. But he's gonna go over the vegan. He's gonna explain it a little later. If he doesn't, just remind him. It says, when compared to those who eat them sparingly or not at all, in addition, vegetarian women have stronger bones and fewer fractures, and they lose less bone as they age. Studies of long-lived vegetarian people like the Hanzas, who are healthy and active into advanced age, contrast sharply with the short lifespan and increased disease rate of traditional Eskimos who depend largely on what they catch from the sea. The question is asked, are there significant ecological effects? Is there? Yes? Okay, let's see. Shifting toward a vegetarian lifestyle would greatly ease the environmental impact of our present meat-centered diet. Pollution from animal-based agriculture is greater than from all other human and industrial activity. So, most of the pollution comes from animal, the disease. It says overgrazing and intense cultivation of land for production of animal food contributes substantially to the massive erosion and irretrievable loss of 6 billion tons of valuable topsoil annually in America. It said, but the impact of meat-centered diet goes beyond North America. In Central America, for example, irreparable damage with global implication continue on a daily basis. Americans eat more than 200 billion pounds of Central American beef every year. And this is written a long time ago, so it is actually higher than that. It says, powerful landowners have destroyed nearly half the region rainforest, turning them into grazing land for cattle needed to supply the ever-expanding hamburger chain. Some 55 square feet of land is needed to produce single pound of hamburger. So, you can see that we do eat a lot of meat. Now, the question is going to ask, are vegetarians able to meet their nutritional needs? Do you think they're able to?
Yes.
All right. Yes, of course. It says easily. It said the recommended daily allowance for protein is what? How much protein you should eat every day? Huh? 0.8? How many grams?
4 men is 30.
No, it's a little more.
4 men is 30, and 4 men is 50.
Close. For adults, it is 45 to 60 grams of protein a day, which works out to be 10 to 15% of calorie eaten. For example, a beef steak offers about 25% of its calories as usable protein. It said the protein content of grain usually exceeds 10% of total calorie. Dry beans and peas carry close to 25% of their calorie as usable protein. So you actually get more protein from the dry beans rather than the meat, because when it goes through the digestive process, you lose protein. It says even vegetables average about 20% of their calories as protein. So there is plenty of protein in plant food, which are as low in fat and high in fiber, and cholesterol free. Studies show that complementary protein and iron and calcium supplies are essential non-problem in human eating a variety of plant food, although pure vegetarian may require a small supplement of vitamin B12. So if the healthy liver of a person actually produce enough B12, but when you have been eating meat and you make that switch, you're going to have to take a B12 supplement. Because we know that B12 only comes from animal source. So you're going to have to take a supplement. Or, better yet, do you know how the body actually assimilates B12? Anyone can tell me? How? All right. How do you retrieve it?
When you brush your teeth, you take it out.
Don't brush your teeth too early.
You drink your water in the morning before you brush your teeth. And the saliva that your mouth produces is actually your B12. So that's how the body actually gets it. The bacteria that the mouth produces. The bacteria that the mouth produces in the morning, in the
In the night.
night,